is Penn State for real? West Virginia on the road in Happy Valley, Penn State minus 20.5.
Butt kicking of the highest order incoming. Not competitive.
Probably. Well, it's hard. Like West Virginia was competitive last year. You know, they should have beat. They almost probably should have beat Pitt week 1. They beat Oklahoma later in the year. Like they're not a garbage team. This is a team that'll flirt with a bowl game probably once again. Penn State, it's a whiteout game. That's usually worth a field goal or a touchdown. I'm taking Penn State, but I don't feel great about it. 20.5 is a lot against a Power 5 team for a Penn State team. For a Penn State team that hasn't yet shown it's at that next level. You said what, 38-10?
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I mean, Ari, what do you think of Drew Allar? We saw him a bit last year. We know you think he should have played all of last year. We never really had that out on the pod, you and me. But what do you think?
You know, Chris, every single time you bring it up, I feel like you miscategorize my point. My thought process with that was simple. If you're a Penn State fan, knowing the way that the season ended last year with a Rose Bowl win, losing the only 2 regular season games that matter to you, would you rather have that Rose Bowl win and cherish it and clutch it towards your chest, or would you rather go back in time and have a more refined Drew Allar coming into this year and maybe sacrifice that Rose Bowl memory? That's it. And it's like, if I were a Penn State fan, I would sacrifice the meaningless Rose Bowl win to try to actually have a chance, if it makes me 5% more likely to beat Ohio State or Michigan or both this year. Last year is nothing compared to the opportunity that this team has this year to actually do something, to make a mark, and to not lose both games on their schedule that matter to them the most in order to win the consolation prize with the Rose Bowl while they look in from afar with their goggles as Ohio State and Michigan play in the playoff. Like, I don't know. I'm not a Penn State fan, so I don't know how their brain chemistry works, but it's not like this is like the prom that they're never going to forget. It was like the consolation prize in their own conference. They finished 3rd in their own division. It's not a special season that you're never going to forget ever.
I am of that belief that if you would give me a championship in any sport, in exchange we miss the playoffs and we're garbage for the next 10 years, I would take that trade-off. The problem is that's not a guaranteed trade-off here. And you had the same view before last season, before Penn State went and did what it did, that you wanted them to start Drew Allar and get through all of that stuff. I think them getting.
And who said that if they would have started Drew Allar, that they would have lost the 2 games that mattered to them in the conference and won the Rose Bowl?
But it's entirely hypotheticals on both sides of what happened or what could happen, and that's fine. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's not wrong to think that what they accomplished last year meant something, and that Penn State tangibly improved for being on the stage of the Rose Bowl and beating Utah the way they did with such a young team that has carried over, that when normally they're on the big stage, they lose to Michigan, they lose to Ohio State, and that's it. Like, they got a big win. They don't have that many big wins over the last couple of years. I think it's important to get that. That helps them. That's all.
Chris, would you sacrifice all that flowery nonsense that you just said if it made their team 5% better this year?
No. Because I think they're already at that spot where they could do it. I wouldn't give up the Rose Bowl for a 5%
I would certainly do it. If you think that you're already on par,
that's fine.
I mean, I just feel like you want to go for the big thing, I don't know.
Yeah,
but I'm not saying that,
we need Ralph Russo on here now.
Yeah, well, you can go on his podcast and you guys can talk about me like you're 16-year-olds at the high school lunch. I just it would be cool to actually hear what Penn State fans have to say about it, because I think that more of them would probably be on my page than yours.
I don't know. I'd love to throw it out there. I'm very curious.
But I think that Penn State's going to kick West Virginia's ass this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm picking it too, but I got to see Penn State do it. I know they're a good team and everything, but sometimes they're not as great on these stages, on these types of stages. It's the NBC game, the first NBC, so we'll see. But I think the whiteout.
I kind of feel like this is the kind of game that you're going to know whether they're covering in the first half.
Yeah.
Last year, if you go back and you look at their first game, that was Thursday night game, September 1st. I think that they were on the road though.
Game. Yeah,
it was the Purdue game. They were
No, it's
Purdue,
the
they were
Purdue
losing
game.
for most of that game. They
and
almost
they
lost.
lost the game, and then Sean Clifford, funny enough, led them back at the end with a late minute drive. But then they played at Auburn 2 weeks later and kicked the crap out of Auburn. Like it wasn't even close. It's like which one? Well, it's the same. Don't tell me that this year's West Virginia team is markedly better than that one. I'm just saying it's a similar situation.
Worse, but I'm just saying Auburn. Let's not give them too much credit for beating a clearly lame duck Auburn team that was just counting down the days.
They were both road games. This one's at home. I know it's an in-state rivalry. Neil Brown is on the hot seat.
It's not an in-state rivalry.
Yes, it is.
They're different states. West Virginia and Pennsylvania are different states.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking.
You're thinking Pitt. You were thinking Pitt.
Yeah, I was thinking Pitt.
Still not an in-state rivalry, but yeah.